I like Jeff's comment. I bet you can hear me now, Justin. Am I right? Can anybody hear me? Please give me some kind of thumbs up or something in the chat. You should all be able to hear me now. Okay, awesome. Boy, I'm sorry about that. That was totally my bad because I thought, apparently I didn't, thought I had set it to auto start right at 8, and I was assuming because I could see it on my screen, you guys could see me and hear me too, so that's totally my bad. But hey, welcome. Thanks for your patience and welcome to this second edition of 3D Thursday. And looks like we have some patient folks, friends of ours here in the chat, so that's awesome. Justin, I know I could hear you, but I don't think you could hear me, but I'm hoping that's changed. So thumbs up or something to me, buddy, or tell me in the chat if you can now hear me now that I've started everything properly. I like that Jeff gave me the thumbs up. How about you, Justin? Are we good to go? Talk to me. I can hear you. Good to go. Okay, Ted. Oh, now we got echo again, buddy. Wow, Justin's throwing all the effects at it. I like the visual. I like the audio. This is going to be fun. All right, so why don't we start some kind of topic between all of us here? And I know, Justin, I'm going to speak for you for a second until you can hear me fine. But I know Justin today just got his 1 gigabit line going, so hopefully there'll be no side effects from his new internet. So let's hope that's all good. But yeah, I appreciate that. It should be like really amazing speed. So we're both on 1 gig lines and shouldn't have that to worry about anymore. All right. So those of you in chat, let's hear some topics. What would you guys like to talk about today? Hello. Justin, what are you printing? Tell us what you're printing there. Anybody on chat have some topics to talk about today? What's on your mind? Any issues? Any new cool things? And Jim, I know you're trying to join the chat, and I believe the experience should be if you go to the link that I sent out to you, and I think you're hearing me. So if you see and hear me to the right, you should be able to, you should see a YouTube chat window. So it should be on the right hand of your screen, and you should see some sort of like yellow highlighted text that says Creative Graphics Group on that side. So hopefully that's what you're seeing. That should be the experience you see there. And by the way, Jeff or anybody else that can hear me, tell me if I'm wrong, because that's usually I see when I go to things on YouTube. So that should be how you get in. All right, looks like we got a starting topic, and I'm hoping that Jim can hear me, and I'm gonna just type back and make sure. Ah, there he is. Awesome. Okay. So first topic up looks like, and hopefully Justin, can you hear me yet, buddy? Because I'm sure this will take Probably both of us. You with me? Awesome. All right, cool. So Justin, I was asking you before when you couldn't hear me, what's on the printer? What do we see there? That's not an answer. What's on your printer? I'm showing the printer right now. So what are you printing? All right. So it's a little. Oh, it is. Oh, really? Dog. Oh, nice. Mini. Pretty sure. All right. I will stare at you guys for a few minutes. Sorry about that, but I'm sure we'll get Justin back. But he's gonna go ahead and try some things. So yeah. So the question, the filament splicer. You guys talking about something like the palette? I think it's called, right? Where it'll take X number of different colors of filament and do a blend, and then feed that into your printer. I think that's what we're talking about. And Jeff, you can hear me now, correct? Okay, cool. So we're talking about the pellet, and I got to be honest, I have actually recently reached out to those folks because I'd really like to get one to put it through its paces. I'm super curious about it, but I really know nothing about the control of it. I mean, I obviously I can understand sort of the physical properties of it. You know, it can only do so many things, right? So splicing it in there has to do a blend, and you must be able to programmatically control that blend. So I don't know much about that one. Um, but I would love to. So we'll hopefully get back to something like that soon. But I've only been chatting with the guys. I haven't gotten one on hand, so I'm not 100%. But I know they're super expensive. So yeah, yeah, $700 I'll pass. Right, that's basically another printer. Ooh, and I love the subtle aggression, the band message here about the Sovol SV01 and the filament not sticking to the bed no matter what I do. I have an idea for you. Let me pin that thought on the wall just for a second, and I'll come right back to it. To finish off that other thread that we were talking about. Yeah, Jeff, I don't know about glue stick. Hold on. But about the dual color printing. So I got to be honest. When I got the SV01, I'm like, yeah, I get it, but why dual color? I had that question in my mind. And then I think I mentioned some of this last time, but you know, the funniest thing is I printed this simple little thing that was on the SD card, came with the printer, right? This butterfly, it looks simple, and it is, honestly. But I got to tell you, you print one of these and you watch it print layer by layer. You see it going, you know, kicking out the prime tower to get rid of the colors. But honestly, man, something about holding this in your hand and not having to go and you know, finish it off and multicolor it yourself. Something about just ripping this right off the bed kind of just like clicked in my head like, oh, now I can do all these things. So it's really not like a physical thing just that this particular printer does, although it does it pretty well. But man, it just kind of, as a designer, and you know, it just really opened my mind to all these other things that could be done now. So I'm kind of loving the thought of it right now, and I've done some kind of interesting things. I have another sample I'll bring up in a second, but let's talk about the bed adhesion. So here's my formula. It's not really mine. It's been passed on to me, but I've learned it and stuck with it. Haha, pun intended. But as far as bed adhesion, here's the working formula, especially if you have an SV01. So you see SV01 right here, right? So that's this guy. Got my tempered glass bed right here. What you'll notice is, well, you probably can't from that distance, but trust me, flip the glass bed over. You want the smooth side up. And why is that? Surface tension. It's just physics. You want all of the flat surface on top. And then, but actually, before you do that, what I would do is I would say, take it to the kitchen, use some Dawn kitchen soap, and just wash it really good, just with a sponge, man. Dry it off super good so that when you put it on the printer, it's not getting it wet. And then make sure the smooth side is up. And then you do one thing. Well, of course, you clip it in place with the whatever kind of clip system you have. You might be able to see on mine. It's probably far away, but I'm using blue painter's tape on this one. I'm using clips on my SV02. So what I would say is I would just just as soon as it's on the bed, take this. It'll cost you like what, maybe $2 at your grocery store, and you just take Aquanet. And why Aquanet specifically is because this formula is just about vinyl. It's like spray vinyl, and that's what you want. And all you do is dust it up. Whoop, dust it off, and just do this, man. It doesn't take much. 1, 2, and dude, that's it. That's completely it. As soon as that dries, fire up the printer and print. Now, that's assuming that you've got a good level on your bed and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, I have not. Well, I'm cheating because I have BL Touch on that one. But even on the SV02, which I don't have BL Touch on, you can go months without leveling these beds. Just set it and forget it. And with this kind of adhesion, I mean, spraying the hairspray on it, you don't have to really scrape it all off every time like you do with the glue stick and all those other kind of additives. It just stays on there every once in a while. Just make sure it's nice and smooth still. Maybe every couple of months, I might take it and wash it again. So that's my magic formula, and it works, man. So if that's not the case, then I'd say you probably haven't leveled it like close enough, or maybe too close. Those are the other two things that will prohibit that sort of magic formula from working. So I'm gonna stop talking for a second so I can read what you're talking about in the chat, so I can catch up. So Captain Tape didn't work. Try both. Yeah, Jeff has a point. Could be um, that you're printing too fast on the first layer. I always print um, at 20 millimeters on the first layer. I mean, super duper slow, probably the slowest you ever want to print, right? But my first layer is always at 20, and then I'll crank everything else up to normal, which is probably 60, 70, 80, whatever. Um, and I also turn off my fan on the first few layers, probably first 3 or 4 layers, no fan. Let it all get nice and hot, stick to the bed, and then you kick on the fan, and then you should be good. So let's see what else people are saying here. Yep. Yeah, no fans. Yeah, cool. Kind of like my high school football team, no fans. So hey, Trevor, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you there. So yeah, that's as far as adhesion goes, man. That's yeah. I mean, like Jeff said, layer five's fine. I tend to put mine back on at like 3 or 4. Maybe I live more aggressively than others. I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's really it. But I'm telling you, like I've tried other hairspray, and I just went back to the 80s and 90s Aquanet stuff, man, and it just works. All right, I have a problem as well as my display not getting to the main menu, but I'm pretty sure it's a bad display. You know, if you do have a bad display, I don't know how old your printer is. You can tell me here in the chat. um, Funny, Jeff. But Jeff is playing into my Star Wars stuff. But yeah, so if it is a bad display and your printer's not too old, it might still be under warranty. So I would definitely get a hold of Sovol via Facebook, send them a message and ask them to replace it if it's not too old. Half a year, it's borderline, dude. But you know what? Oh no, I think it's a year on that stuff. Justin, please keep me honest here. Might be a year. But talk to Heidi, or just bring it up to the Sovol 3D in their Facebook group, and chances are you'll probably get a new one. But if you don't, even if you have to replace it yourself, check it out. On mine right here, you cannot tell because it looks like stock, but this is a Big Tree Tech TFT display, and it looks just like it fits right into the other one. It's the exact same size, but it is both touchscreen and emulate. Go back to Marlin mode and with the dial. So it's not terribly expensive. I'm sure Trevor knows the cost of those. I can't remember. Yes, you're right, Trevor. Some of them did have a bad set of displays. In fact, I had an issue with my beautiful display on my SV02 when I first got it, but it's been corrected. So, from what I understand, most of those are not having a problem like the SV01s in the original days. It was just my bad luck. Um, but yes, Trevor, if you happen to know how much those Big Tree Tech displays are, it's pretty much a plug and play kind of situation. So I use a ANET A8 heavily modified Ender 3 Pro and a Kitty Shadow resin. Oh, nice. Okay. So tell me what you like about the resin printers, because I know obviously we've all talked before about the mess and the toxicity and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, but what do you what are the upsides of your resin printer that you have, your particular model? And Jeff's asking about build tech. Yeah, it made things stick too well, and you know what? I've actually seen people break the tempered glass with that stuff, so I'm not a fan. And I'm telling you, I wish I would have left something on my printer bed because it's like the perfect mix. It's just when the bed's still hot, kind of hard to get things off, right? You have to wait for it to cool down, and then it's just like a simple snap, and it's done. So it stays on there really perfectly. That's why I like the Aquanet, man. So yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Big Tree Tech TFT 35 E3 is around $30, so can't beat it with a stick, man. I like it. So, so you love the resolution. Is that a 4K, Jim? I'm not sure if that's a 4K or a 2K. Yeah, denatured. Okay. Yeah, amazing detail in small sizes, especially with some of those 4K systems now, man. It's like, um, but yeah, so here's my deal. Like, oh, it's a 2K, cool. I definitely want to get into some more resin printing. I've only done a little bit with people at work, but I don't personally own one yet. I know I'm going to get one because I've been talking to some of these brands, and the thing is, I want to get some to review, honestly, because I want to know. First of all, I want to be able to support them just as well as we do the other printers, and I just need some more experience. I know Trevor and Justin, I believe you both have worked with resin printers, and they're when it comes to helping people with those, we can get help, but I need to personally gain some more experience with that, so I'm looking for it. But so here's my personal quest is to I know I'll need it. It's going to be useful for me because I have a section of the stuff I want to print that would be great for resin. So my goal, as many of you know, is, oh wow, I'm actually wearing the right shirt for today too. But you can probably see I'm wearing my R2 shirt for Galaxy Edge. But I want to build a full size R2, and I want to do the Mr. Badley's 3D printed one. So we've already started. In fact, here's you probably saw the post from today. I don't know how the focus is going to be, but hopefully you can see that. This is the hollow projector from R2, from a full-size R2. This is 3D printed yesterday on my SV02. And this is sort of my litmus test, because what I do is I take parts like this that in the past, when I first got my SV01, I had some challenges with my Cura setup that I was trying to fix. And what I would do is I would use this particular model to see how smooth I could get it. And I'm hoping that you guys saw the pictures that I posted today, or you can kind of tell from this model. I'm really hoping I'm probably right, and my camera's probably not focusing on it. But anyway, trust me, it's pretty good, spot on. Like, I could probably just sand a little bit where the seam is and call it a day. But this particular model is cool because it's got a nice inside that'll help you make sure that you're not stringing when it's crossing over. The body, of course, is pretty much a sphere with a couple cuts in it, but man, is it smooth. Even the layer height, this is only printed at 0.15. It's not even that low of a layer height. But then when it comes to these vertical pieces, the grips, they're round and they're linear, right? So it's pretty cool, and it's got a nice point at the top, and they're tapered. So I like this as a model to test with, and I can't print too many of them because I need at least 3 to build my R2. So, oh, by the way, I know I talked last time about this JMO technology stuff, which I told you I loved this filament. And they have also, that's usually about 25 bucks for 1K spool. But they also have a cheaper line. The more expensive stuff, made in the USA, in Ohio. It's 404 3D native resin with no fillers except for colors. This stuff is made in China, and it's like $15 to $17 a spool. That's what this is. And man, I was using it to really tune out the SV02. I said, forget dual color printing for a minute. Let's just make sure the printer prints well. And it printed really well, even with the cheap filament. So I'm going to stop talking for a second and catch up with the chat. So what do we got here? So yeah, totally different experience over FDM. I know it. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, most of the people I know personally, and this is a poor sampling, I'm sure, that have resin printers have an Elegoo Mars. I don't know why, but it's just, I don't know if they all knew each other and said, hey, let's all buy at one point. But it was pretty much probably like Black Friday deals last year is when I know a lot of them got them. Oh, hey, that's Casey. Cool. Hey, buddy. So yeah, pretty awesome. Jeff, plastic wood filler. That's what you're saying. Oh, somebody's got their AT-AT shirt on. Cool. And that's right? For those of us that were around for the 70s, AT-AT or AT-AT? You tell me. But yeah, so plastic wood filler. You know what, dude? That's perfect, right? I mean, any of that cheap stuff. I mean, just even the stuff the stuff you patch your walls with, it works just fine. Don't use anything expensive. Now, to me, when sanding, like I'm about ready to, I've been holding off sanding some of these pieces for this helmet because I want to be able to. First of all, I'm gonna film it, and I'm gonna show you guys some things. But really, man, just a palm sander for a few minutes with a couple different grits of sandpaper will do so much magic. It doesn't have to be complicated to do your finish work. So I'm going to get into that in a little bit. That's not really today's topic unless you guys bring it around. AT-AT, because you have others like ATSTs. Yeah, right, I guess so. All right, let's agree to disagree. No, that's fine. I could go either way. It's just, I guess maybe I just learned it incorrectly when I was a kid. Call it AT-AT. Huh. Um, but yeah, the name of that filament. This is JMO Technology. So if you check them out, they've been advertising like mad on Facebook and Instagram. I think their ad says something like tired of bad filament or something like that, or cheap filament. I don't know what it was, but man, all I know is when I switched over to this stuff, I planned on like all these experiments to set it up and get it to print right, and it just went. It was with a pretty much a standard. Oh man, I don't know. Ohio where? Yeah, see, automotive glazing putty for me is a little more toxic than I like to deal with. I honestly just use the same putty I do for filling in holes in my walls, and it works just fine. There's nothing wrong with it, unless you're gonna. Oh, actually, Jim, this is a good topic to segue into. Unless you're gonna put something in your car and let it sit in the sun, because yes, unless you paint it with many many layers and then finish off with gloss, yeah, that stuff could break free a little bit. But let's talk about filament more in just a second. So, somebody asked. Because I don't know. Let me go live here. Live. Cool. So let's check it out. So JMO Technology. I need to start getting paid for some of this stuff when I recommend it, and I am. But I don't mind honestly because these guys are cool. They've always done me right. So, oh boy. There we go. Here it is. Ooh, yeah, $17. That's basically this gray stuff here, right? Um, and their premium PLA is this stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, another topic, but see how it says $29 and they've crossed out 49? Well, it used to always be around $29, and then sometimes they'd have it on sale for a killer deal of like $16, which I just got a couple rolls. They're coming in tomorrow at $6 a piece for premium. So I love that. And but let's see. Somebody asked where they are in Ohio. Yeah. Mentor, Ohio. So that's where they're at. But they're going to do PET G. They're going to do PLA Plus. I've heard. So they're growing, and I like supporting them. And especially because man, when I if I send them a message on Facebook Messenger, man, they're always back to me. Even weird hours, they're always back to me super quick. So that's awesome. And oh, I wanted to ask you guys this: have you seen this? So we just recently added this this flow page to our Instagram, and it's because I kept having to send Instagram people links that don't work, or having to send it to them in a message or some other way. So I'm jumping into the bandwagon here, I guess, and um, so this is. I don't know. It's like a link tree kind of thing, but to me it was a little easier to use, does a little more. So here we got, the back to the website, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel, a link to the latest streaming and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is something that hopefully some of you guys will, actually, this is not brief. There we go. So this link here actually opens up a little form. So if you guys ever need anything, just give me your name and email, and it goes seriously straight to my phone. So good way to do it. Just again, go to Instagram, go into our bio, click the bio link, and it brings you right here. So okay, I'm gonna pop back here. So let me check out the chat again, see if we have anything new to talk about. All right, yeah, wall putty shrinks over time. It can. I have not honestly noticed that the cheapest putty I could get myself at Walmart, that stuff does not seem to shrink for me. Like I know the quick dry stuff does, the one that goes on pink and turns white, shrinks like mad. But this stuff, I've done many prints and painted over them and never had a problem. It hasn't even cracked on me yet. So maybe it's because of my finishing process. I don't know. All right, so what? Okay, Tiance brand PLA. Okay, All right, that's cool. There's also Keene Village Plastics near Akron. Nice, Casey. Casey, are you in Ohio? Is that where you're at, buddy? So, um, probably several of you have seen this video that I posted not too long ago, but um, this cool thing, I want to bring this up. So this is NASA flexible fabric is what they're calling it. It's hexagon shape. But what's kind of cool is that it's all one piece. So this was how it printed. It printed this side down. Of course, you know, it's two colors. Printed that with the filament that came with my SV02. So I used the blue for the hexagons on the bottom. Hopefully you can kind of see how they are. Here, like that. And then right above it, it switched colors and printed all the rest of it white. I was just a little boring with that, I guess, but you know what? It's pretty cool. I love playing with this. This is mine. I've never played with a fidget spinner, but this is my fidget spinner. And when I'm in a meeting or a Zoom meeting or something like that, and sitting there at my desk, it's pretty awesome. It's just really cool. But I love the concept of it. They're all just interlocked, single piece printed. Pretty neat stuff. So I love that. So another cool little thing you can do with a dual color printer. All one piece. All right, so what do we got? Yeah, so that's a good question. So where is everybody from? So I'm here in sunny Florida, in Central Florida area. I guess if you had to know where in Florida, it'd be close to Disney. Um, and I know Justin's out in South Dakota. And let's see, so I'm looking for some chat messages here to see where everybody is. So yeah, have you ever considered making your own filament from wasted filament? Man, I'd be rich. Now, I actually have been in talks with those people that make the. Oh man, I should get better at this. What's the device? Somebody help me here. It's a device where you put plastic pellets in and it generates back out usable filament into your printer. And I would love to really check that out. Um, I'd love to see how that works. That sort of circular printing is pretty awesome to me. So I'd love to check that out. If anybody, yes, Phyllis Struder, that I think is it. You guys are good. Um, but yeah, that's I would love to check that out. Has anybody actually played with it? I'm curious because to me it's a little mythical still. I'd like to know how well it worked, and and by the way, you still have to buy the pellets. Although I'm sure it's got to be way cheaper um, than going and buying filament on a spool. But honestly, though, if you think about it, I mean, maybe it's more an environment thing, like they say, but expensive for what you get out of it, right? Um, and that's why some people worry about the purge tower for multicolor printing. Kind of not me. It does waste a little bit, and man, I just threw my last sample out. But really, we're talking a few pennies, really. For the functionality about it. But yeah, but I mean, you can just grind up your wasted PLA. That would be awesome. But man, you probably have to have some serious machines to grind it up just that way, right? Because it needs to be very tiny stuff. Um, okay, cool. Devin for Make Anything as a review of higher quality recycler. Awesome. 3D filament maker. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I would love to know more about that. So EDC4MA. Who is this? I I don't know everybody's handles yet. I apologize, but who am I talking to? Food processor. I really don't think my Ninja or any food processor I've seen would cut it into very specific shaped pieces like that. Especially if I, like just snap this in half and threw it in there. I don't know, man. Okay. Yeah. So what's your name, man? Or girl? I don't know. Ed. Oh, I get it. Ed C4MA. Okay. Cool. New York City. All right. All right. So will it blend? I actually saw a video from the one that I'm thinking of the other day, and it was like mostly white pieces of chopped up filament that was in there, and then it looked like pepper. They put like a couple of little dots of color of other filament in there, and then it came out like sort of like this smoky looking thing by the time it melted it down and extruded it out. So yeah, it was interesting. As long as the pieces are below 5 millimeter, it'll work. So there's pre-processing to your processing. I still say that's kind of tough. So I'd probably be the guy buying bags of this stuff instead. I don't know. Unless I gave it to my dog, but he'd probably eat it, or she'd probably eat it. So. All right. Sift through a screen. Yeah, true. You guys are thinkers. I like it. All right. So what are we going to talk about next? So I'm looking around for props that I could talk about. I think I'll take this time while you guys type and I drink some water. Oh, I do have one more topic. See, the water helps. What do you guys think about? Oh, I should tell you this. Next week, two important events. One, Thanksgiving in U.S., also known as my birthday. So we will not be having a 3D Thursday next week. Sorry. But the following week, into December then, we will be having one. What are your thoughts about, oh yeah, thanks Jeff for the reminder. What are your thoughts about, moving it to 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock Eastern? Would that be better or worse for everybody? Because I know I've been talking to some people in Europe, they're like, that's tough. So, I know we have people West Coast, sort of Central, East Coast US, and I think all of you, if I'm not mistaken, are somewhere in the US. But what do you think about maybe making it 9 p.m. Eastern? Anybody for or against it critically? Well, you guys think about that, so there's no dead air. I'm going to talk a little bit about, probably should show a little bit about slicing for, yeah, Trevor, okay. Slicing for multiple colors. So if Block has it, yep, cool, I still have my model up. I am going to bring up Mesh Mixer. All right, and actually in the meantime, I'm gonna bring up, I put it? I'm gonna bring something up in Cura that I already had. Bear with me. Okay, cool. So while that's loading, I'm going to bring up Mesh Mixer. You guys should be able to see this. Need my chat window so I don't lose you. All right. Pop up Mesh Mixer. All right, here's Mesh Mixer. So I brought this STL in. Now it, oh, that's source. Sorry. So oops. What are we? Just reading the chat. Demos very spring. Okay, so we got 12 minutes. Hard stop at 9. Okay, cool. Name is Jeff. Yeah, we'll talk about the Kickstarter thing too. And somebody will remind me of the name. It's Image something or other, I think. But here's my thing. So I'm grounded in 3D content creation pieces. Tools are not really. I don't care. Like I can pop into Blender, Maya, Max, and do stuff. So I might be abnormal there. But this is the NASA fabric. So what we're really looking at here are two things. So we have the tiles right here. So, and it's just multicoloring them because of how I selected them. But we're really looking at two pieces that will go to a STL. We're looking at the tiles, which will come in as one object. And then we're looking at all this other stuff. All right. And you'll notice if I zoom in here, you'll notice that right here, if I turn the other one back on, you'll see they blend right into the floor of that hex. So they are printed as one piece. If you can imagine a printer slicing, going through this printing, straight into that tube and so on. And you can see how they're interlocked, and that's the magic of how they rotate, right? So when I brought this in, it was just all one big thing. In fact, I think I have it loaded here. Yeah, basically it looked like that. But yeah, it was basically one big thing. And then what had happened is I selected all the floor tile and then pulled it. You know what? Where is it here? I think separate shells. So basically, you take everything and you separate it. You get a selection group. Here's the whole thing in a nutshell. You select a bunch of stuff that you want to be one color, and you say separate this stuff from all the rest of the geometry on this single model, and then you're left with two pieces of geometry. Okay, and you basically bring that in as an STL, two pieces into your slicer, and then slicing wise, what you do is you select one of them, textiles, and you can see they're different colors here in Cura. So we have we have side left, I guess. We have the extruder left and the extruder right. So what I have set up here is these are both PLA, and I just remind myself I changed the color of this one to blue, just so I knew because I had blue loaded on the left side. So what you do is you come in here and you tell it that this piece is being printed by that one, and you basically do that by right-clicking on the object and say print it on the left extruder, and then you select your other thing and you right-click that and you say print it on the right extruder, and then you go through and you tell it the difference between these two extruders. Now, I recommend printing very, very similar stuff, filament-wise, like same brand if you can, maybe just different colors, because you're going to want to have the same material temperatures and all that kind of stuff just to keep things simple. Because I'm pretty sure Trevor and Justin, I'm sure, will set me straight, but I'm sure you could print them, I don't know, 5 degrees different. But then as it's swapping out and purging, it's going to have to change the temperature and come back and go again. So by keeping them similar PLA, hopefully same brand again, then you can keep the temps the same. And then as it's printing, all it's doing is it's printing the one, going and purging, and coming back and loading the other one. And let me just see if it's worth bringing up another camera. Well, easiest way. Let me think. Well, if you've seen, let me rotate the camera here. Okay, I can show you that. Try this. So, left, right, filaments. If you can check the extruder out, it comes in these two tubes, these two Bowden tubes, and there are little lines here that are marked about 30 millimeter away from the print head. And what happens is you let them both sit at that same mark so that they're not, it comes into basically a Y. So you don't want them both in at the same time. They can't conflict. So it pulls one out, puts the other in, that kind of thing. That's how it swaps back and forth. So to slice it in Cura, it tells the machine through Marlin code when to pull one back and when to push one in, and it knows how to do the rest of the magic. So, all right. Hopefully, I mean, I really want to do an in-depth thing on color printing, but I want to really bang on the SV02 a little harder. As I said, when I was sort of doing my litmus test here, I'm trying to get it tuned in really, really well because I have a really cool print in mind that I want to do that's going to really kind of prove, hey, why dual color printing? I think you'll like it. So let me catch up with some of the text here. Yes, thanks for coming, Ted. Nice to see you here. And I know, I think Jeff said he had to go But so Jeff, any other? Oh, okay. Have you attempted to print directly onto fabric yet? No, I have not. Have you? That's interesting. Um, I've heard of people doing that, but I imagine there's quite a protocol for that. So, all right. I'm gonna hop back here because I think we're done with Cure, unless anybody has any other questions. But so, uh, what else? What else, guys? Hit me up with some questions here because I'd really like to be helping people. So, um, don't use a poly. What are you saying, Jeff? Or yeah, Jeff. Okay, so it's not too difficult. Biggest problem is making sure the fabric is tight on the bed. Oh yeah, right, man. So yeah, yeah, poly would melt. I see what you're saying, Jeff. Good point. But yeah, if you're printing on denim or cotton or something like that, I imagine it would work pretty well. It could take a pretty decent heat, but I know from my time spent in cutting machines, the Gerber machines that I worked on before, they actually had a vacuum table that would pull things down so that it was guaranteed to be nice and flat. Obviously, we're not going to get that here, so you'd have to have some kind of system to tack it down. So why to print on fabric? I think a lot of cosplayers have done that before. Oh yeah, t-shirt, sure, that's kind of cool. I don't know how it would hold up to a wash. What's your experience there, Jim? Let me ask you this before I lose everybody. I think we have like 4 minutes or so, although I'm good with going over because I know we had a sort of hiccup in the beginning. Uh, but lesson learned. Um, what would you like to see on future 3D Thursday? Because I feel the more we come in prepared, the better we'll be. Because and I know everybody says, yeah, I'll be there and I've got questions and I'll show up, and a lot of times, you invite 100 people and 10 show up or something. So I get it. People get sidetracked or busy or something comes up, and it's life. But I know that I've had probably about 6 to 8 people in this last week that were super struggling. Like, where's the hammer? I'm going to beat this printer down. And I've tried to get them here, and I'm hoping that we can, like, one of these sessions, I'd really love to go and walk through some actual problem solving. Like, hey, even if you have to take your iPhone or whatever and show me your printer and show me what it's doing, I want to help you, man. I want to get through some actual problem solving. So I'd love to do that soon. Or if we have some like questions an hour before and I can kind of queue them up and read through them, that's cool too. But okay, so don't use PLA, breaks down water. You should, yep, makes sense. Jeff says design, setup, and finishing, and it's cool that you say it sort of like that, Jeff, because and please, I know we were talking about that the thing in the Instagram. Let me get my screen back. Where's it? This flow page thing. I know we were showing this before, but one thing I'd like to show you is the permanent link to Discord is now here. So if you go into Instagram, hit the bio, hit the link that's in the bio, you'll be brought to this page. I want everybody that's on here, hopefully, to go to Discord because I really want to build it up. And I intentionally turn Discord off because it always makes these noises while I'm doing these live streams. But I'm going to bring it up because I love what Jeff said there, and it kind of ties into it. So come on, Discord. Come on. Okay. So here we go. I want to show you the areas that we have here in our Discord. So I thought through some of this, and I said, you know what? We have these sections like in the lab, help, 3D modeling, general, and that's it. But some of these things are like in the lab, general printer discussions, work in process, showing off your finished stuff, filament, slicing, requests for models, and all that kind of stuff. But finishing, so we have a section on finishing here. In help, we have I'm stuck, and help with slicers. And 3D modeling, we bring in all the typical culprits. And again, like the things that I'm talking about here, like with finishing, I'd love to have thorough discussions here on how do you sand, what kinds of paints work well with this and that. Um, what has failed for you before? What do you finish with when you're doing metallics? All these kind of things that come up. I want to have, in my belief is that after doing a lot of Facebook group adminning for a lot of different places, including 3D printer manufacturers for some time, Facebook intentionally is a bad place to search for information. It doesn't store it and retrieve it very well on purpose because that's their algorithm, is to get you to keep scrolling, right? We all know that. But Discord, on the other hand, is a good place to go and hang out and get very interactive help and be able to search and follow threads and all that kind of stuff. So please get the link for this, and please go to it and start using it, because it's very, very new. Just got it set up, and we went through some testing with it and cleared everything out. And I would just love you guys to go there and have some nice discussions there. And maybe we'll even put a little channel in here to say, hey, what should we talk about on the next 3D Thursday live stream? Because I really think it would help build this up, and this is a community for you guys. I want to be able to help everybody give back to the community and build a community of people that can really be proud of the stuff they're printing and get through the frustration. So, and actually with that, have any of you guys been to the website and hit the About Us? Because I know everybody does that. But anyway, I just want to show our mission. Our mission is to build a community of the most talented individuals in the 3D printing industry, teaching them so that they can avoid the typical frustration and steep learning curve that thousands before them had to endure, and empowering them to continuously improve their skills. So that's from my heart to you guys. That's what I'm all about here. That's why I'm doing this, is because I really want to help. I want to go out and make sure that there aren't people left out there that are frustrated and that can actually, get out of their investment in that printer what they put into it, so, and more. So, tell me what that means to you guys. What do you think? Is that are we off to a good start? Are we crazy or what? All right, night, Jeff. Thanks. How many benchies does everybody have on the shelf over their printer? So I know Jeff's probably gone by now, but funny thing is, this is my benchy. This is it. Never bench. Don't tell anybody. That'll be our secret. But I don't know. Wasn't appealing to me. I did everything else. I wanted to say, you know what? When I first got my printer, I printed the cube that was on the SD card, and then I kind of said, you know what? What else? I want to print real stuff. So Thingiverse and my own models, I want to go crazy with it. So I just fell right into that. Am I unique, or do you guys do the same thing? And I know, Jim, I don't have you on voice. Sorry, man. We probably should do that next time. But tell me about your hips printing, because it sounds like sort of the sweet spot that I'm missing. I haven't printed with hips because, man, I would like something that is more heat tolerant. I mean, I print in PET G, but you're telling me, man, it's sort of like in between PLA and ABS, where hey, I don't print with ABS right now because I don't have enclosures around all my printers. I don't have proper ventilation or a way to get it outside very easily. Maybe when I'm done building the garage studio portion, then maybe I could do that. But so I want the durability, the heat toleration, but I don't want to do ABS yet. So, man, tell me about your experience in brands with hips and how well it tolerates it, or anybody, and not just Jim, but anybody. And I know we're technically over. If you guys are cool with another 10 minutes, I'd love it. I understand, though, if you have to leave, but yeah, I would, and Casey has never printed a benchy. I'm going to print a shirt. Something to the effect of I've never printed a benchy or something. But, the other shirt I want to print is, I got to make a more clever way of saying this, but you know what? Everybody's, when I crack up when I see this in the channels, how fast are you printing? Are you getting 100? Or, what are you printing at? Like, dude, by the time that print is done, do you know what print speed I did this at? As long as it looks good, I don't care the speed, unless I'm doing production pieces and doing 100 of them at a time. Then yeah, But if I'm building my R2 or if I'm building something for me, if I let it sit on the printer overnight, really, I guess this is my scale. If pushing the speed over 100 or something like that is going to possibly make it fail, then I'm going to print slower. And my standard speed is probably 60 to 80 somewhere, except for like we talked earlier, first layer. But yeah, so tell me about your HIP filament. Hey, Justin, don't worry about it, dude. You know what? How about this? You and I, maybe this weekend or something, or earlier next week, um, or maybe next Friday or something like that. We'll take some time. We'll get it all ironed out. Don't worry about it. I know you literally just got your internet up, so and I don't have a problem with it. I'm so glad that you tried and you're joining and all this stuff and that you're participating. That's awesome. Um, are you local in Grand Haven? Um, who is oh, I know the icon. Who is the I eat BYA this? Who is that? Please tell me your name. But yeah, who are you asking who's in Grand Haven? Because I'm in Florida here in Disney type area. Oh, Ed. I've often thought about printing B9, Lost in Space. And I should ask you, what do you think is cooler, the original B9 or the new robot from the new? I read something about turning off timestamp. Okay. Yeah, original all the way. Yeah, I mean, but um, maybe the draw is the new series is just so cool, right? And well written and all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm with you because I used to be a kid watching it, growing up and loved it. Um, but man, if you were, I have a feeling if I was to try and go back and watch some episodes, it'd be hard to sit through watching the new one now. So, um, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Sovol adhesion problem. Gotcha, man. Yep. I'm so glad you were here. By the way, let me know, was that helpful at all? Because tell me if it's not. And by the way, feel free to email me, Terry at creativegraphicsgroup.com. And if we need to talk more, or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or something, and we'll help further. I know there's only probably so much we can do because we're not actually talking, but we'll cure that too because um, people give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you guys think about live Zoom-based training? Maybe you guys don't need it because we have a lot of experienced people here, but what do you think about for people new to printing, actually going through X number of weeks on Zoom in some live training? You and your printers and me and my. What do you think about it? Jim likes it. Cool. All right, so Jim says HIPS has the same heat tolerance that ABS does. Awesome. No toxic fumes. Excuse me, even more awesome. Sand smooth without acetone. No enclosure needed. Dude, what's not to like about that? That's awesome. Wow. Man, I'm gonna have to get me some HIPS. Now, I know you told me something in Messenger, but what's the brand so you can type it here for everybody else? What's the brand you recommend? And what kind of pricing is it? It's got to be just a little more than PLA, right? All right, Ed says, I see a lot of things not so good about the SV01. I was looking at the SV02. That's this guy right here, buddy. Also, just remember, the SV03 is coming out like next week-ish, something like that. So, oh, and it's also not hydrophobic. Awesome. So HIPS is hard to find. Is that true, Jim? Is that what you find, or do you like know where to get it and it's not a problem for you? But so so Ed, tell me about your criteria for the printer, because I could tell you either way. Now, one thing I'll tell you, the SV01 is my go-to printer for stuff like this. Like when I'm building my R2, my SV01 is so rock solid I have no problem thinking, can I throw something at that printer and it'll print unless I screwed something up myself and slicer, right? It's my fault then, but that printer is going to handle anything I throw at it. And basically the SV02, I'm getting it there. I just have not spent as much time with it because it's new to me. They just sent me mine. So, but I got to tell you this, like, yes, here's the draw to me. SV01, direct drive. SV02, dual Bowden, whatever that's worth. But guess what? All the Enders and all these other printers out there, people are used to Bowden. So, okay, not maybe that much negative in my mind anyway. You gotta figure it out. But this thing here opens up some creativity in my mind on things that I can now do. And man, I wish I could. I shouldn't yet spill the beans and show you the plans that I have for what to do to show why dual color is cool, even cooler than you would think. But man, I think it's gonna open some eyes. But anyway, you guys will be the judge of that. All right, let's check the questions here. Okay. A little less than ABS and a little more than PLA. Gizmo Dorks has it on Amazon. Awesome. Because my Amazon gets here next day all the time with Filament. Oh, that's what I was going to bring up when I was looking at the JMO tech stuff on their website. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but even on Amazon, there's a steady increase in pricing because of supply and demand on PLA lately. And I was talking to the JMO guys and some other brands, and they're all saying the same thing, that it's going to increase soon. So people were asking them, why are you saying it's $49 when it never has? Well, I mean, they're assuming the curve. So, but they also put a sale out, so not bad. So have you guys been seeing that? That's my other question to you guys. Have you noticed a few bucks going? I have. All right. It's the same stuff they make plastic model kits out of. So model glue works to glue the parts together. Dude, that's pretty awesome, except for the smell. But I mean, yeah. You think 2 in and 1 out or IDX is better? Again, it depends what you want to do with your printer. That's a great question, because if you think about the positive part of the IDEX, independent control means that, like, you can totally put it in mirror mode and it's going to build 2 models of the same thing. If that's what you're after, then you got to get that. But if you really want to do really good dual color printing and have a solid machine, I mean, remember, the same size. This SV02 is the same size as the SV01. It's essentially the same foundation as the SV01, the proven foundation. That's why they did it. And then they added on some of the additional capabilities and some of the cool stuff like the bigger screen and all that. So to me, now that I want to get into more of the colored printing and multicolored printing stuff, then yes, I like the SV02, but I'm not as familiar with it yet. I know I'm going to put it through its paces and do some really cool stuff. So if I had to tell somebody, I'd have to really ask you, what kind of things do you really want to print? So the arguments usually go like this. What I've heard, hey, I don't care about dual color because I'm going to print it like this, and I'm going to sand it, and I'm going to mask it off, and I'm going to I'm going to paint this color, paint that color. That's the one side. But on the other side, I want to do something very unique I can't do on that printer. I want to have multicolors straight out of the box, and I want it to be one piece. So think about that and what you can do with that. So it really depends. Like, am I printing a helmet? Am I printing an R2? Am I, printing functional pieces? Do I want to go through the bother of sanding and painting and all the rest of the finish? So if the answer to that is no, I don't want to sand, I want multicolor out of the box, then dual color printer is a brainer. That's what you need. So Ed says everything. I want to do everything. So if you want to do everything, then you got to get a printer that does both, right? So you do need something that's solid and that will print dual color. So I would say if you're torn between the SV01 and the SV02, guess what? Black Friday coming. I have no clue if they got something up their sleeves, but I imagine like last year they do. So, and they've been having sale prices on that. So, and the price of, think about this. People ask me all the time, why Sovol instead of Creality? Guess what's inside this? What kind of board is inside these things? What are some of the pieces? They're Creality pieces. So maybe compare the Sovol SV02 against the, what is it, CRX Pro? That's the Creality dual color. And check out the prices and all that kind of stuff. Check out their specs and see what you think. So I don't know, man. I would say obviously it's your choice, but definitely check for some sales coming up soon. Anything come out of China has been going up due to tariffs. Yes, of course. Yep. So again, maybe that's where U.S. and I know there's not just JMO, but there are several U.S. based filament makers. So maybe that's where they're going to come to the rescue. Any other questions? Or I know we're like way over now. We're like 15 minutes over. But any other thoughts on any other questions? Or hey, please, again, everybody go to Discord and start filling it up. Spread the link around, please, and let's make that a pretty good base camp for getting help. Because we want to get out there more with you guys. I love communities and building up teams of people to be able to help solve problems like this. So, okay, so it's not a matter of two color or one color, but if you go for two color or three color like the A33 or 330, I can't decide between dual or two and one out. Yeah. Yeah. So I know Trevor has had, I believe he's still here. Trevor's had some experience, more experience than I have with that. So why don't we, that's a really great question that'll take more than 2 minutes to answer. So Ed, why don't, if you wouldn't mind either emailing me, Facebooking me, or going to Discord and putting that question out there, I would be more than happy to do a little bit more research, talk to my pals here, and get a better answer. Because I'd rather give you an answer that took a little longer and have it be a better one, a more thoughtful one, than just rattle something off. So, especially when we're getting close to the end here. So, man, it's a great question. I'd love to frame that up. So, thank you all for joining. Unless there's anything else, yes, topic for December 3D Thursday. I love it. Doesn't excuse you for not going to Discord. Just kidding. But please do. But yeah, and I should probably post the link. Why don't I do that in the chat here? And there is the permanent link for Discord. So please use it and send it to all your friends because they'll love you for it. So again, sorry a little bit about the technical issues that we had in the beginning with it not auto starting. I'll have to noodle on that one a little bit, make sure that I get that fixed next time. And I know Justin and I are going to work offline and getting all of his camera and everything set up. And thank you. Yeah, Jim, man. Oh, I should say this. It's funny. Jeff, who's not here anymore, maybe we'll replay and watch it. And Jim, I've known for probably way too many years that I shouldn't mention, but Jim was at the 90s or early 2000s when we first met, but that's back in the True Space application days, man. So we've been 3D modeling, rendering, and animating, and now printing. Yeah, 90s. That's what I thought, man, because, boy, I think I started in 95, 96. But anyway, yeah, it's been a long time, but I'm so glad to have caught up with you again, man. And hopefully you and I can work together. And I love you've already inspired me with this hip stuff. So now I got to go out and probably everybody's here is going to try and print with some hips. So thank you for that. And I just love, again, having this community, the capability of helping people. So again, I'm going to keep rattling on that. And thank you. Please, everybody, go to YouTube, to our Creative Graphics Group YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You wouldn't believe how much it helps. Also, hit the little bell because that'll remind you next time that we go live, and all the things that we set up that are scheduled, and any new videos that we post. I should probably tell you the next videos that are coming. So the next one I'm finishing editing right now is how to install an E3D V6 hot end on a Sovol SV01. And I know we have the article that's on our creativegraphicsgroup.com website, and so many people have used that, but that's one of the reasons that we wanted to do a video version of it. And if you can imagine, with multiple cameras and how complex that is, it's quite a video to edit and get right. So I'm working on that. It should be done very, very soon. The next one after that, of course, the follow-up that usually happens when upgrading printers is, all metal hot end, and then what? BL Touch. Yes, I heard you say it. So that's coming right after. And then we've got kind of a slew of other things that were based on questions and suggestions that we got from the community. So keep throwing them out there. If you have a good thought for a video, please send it our way, and we will definitely take that under consideration, because I've got an editorial calendar right now that's probably got about another month's worth of stuff on it. So after that, we're going to be looking, well, I mean, right now, we're going to be looking for new stuff to do. So everybody's going to be getting these new cool 3D printers for Christmas, and we want to be able to be there to help. So thank you again for all of your support. We love you guys, and keep the questions coming, and we'll give you answers. And thanks again for joining us tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.